I would like to welcome Kevin from I'm Bored Toys to today's episode of Crossing the Streams. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Been looking
Yeah,
forward to it all week. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Thank you for having me.
of course. I'm really glad to have you here. I've been excited, as I was telling you before we started the recording. There has been a lot of hype in various channels wherever I end up at, like saying, "Hey, looking forward to the next Crossing the Streams. Can't wait to see what you and Kevin talk about." And I'm like, "Great, no pressure." Now there's pressure. So
Exactly. Exactly. We're gonna do it's gonna be amazing. Don't worry.
so let's talk about your channel, your Twitch channel, and
Sure.
your community. And as is customary on the show, we always start by asking the guests to describe what their channel and community is like for someone who's not familiar with I'm Bored Toys.
Yeah, so I mean in terms of like the actual content
Mm-hmm.
that we do, primarily Lego. Sometimes we do some other things as well. Like little like craft kits or puzzles or some video gaming and stuff. Which we used to do primarily on Tuesdays, and we called it Other Toy Tuesday, which was a
Mm.
fan favorite, of course. But I've been doing Tuesday collabs lately. So things change up here and there once in a while, but primarily Lego content. And the community is just freaking awesome and is not necessarily just Lego, like traditional Lego people. A lot of artists and music people and gamers and stuff that are just interested in, having a good time and having, fun people to chat with and that are hilarious and that, we happen to be doing Lego on the stream usually, but
Uh-huh.
otherwise they're just awesome, positive, hilarious, loud, all caps, spamming emotes, good fun people. So, but I also co-stream a lot with my next door neighbor, Brenda, Art and Jest,
Yeah.
who does her own streams as well. And of course, that's what brings in a lot of people that aren't necessarily traditionally in the Lego community, but for sure.
That's awesome. Um, so it's a stream where you bring on guests often. Sometimes you're doing Lego, sometimes you're doing other things. What I really like about your content, and like you said, you bring people on to kind of hang out with you. Uh, Unlike many other streams that I've seen, you often do collaborate with a wide swath of people. Like you said, there's different like artists, other makers and crafters, things like that. What kind of spurred that for you to bring all these different types of content creators to your channel?
Yeah, I mean, that has started only recently, but has been really, really successful so far, both for my own channel and for the people, that I'm collaborating with. So it started with um, Stace of Spades, who's an art streamer,
Hmm.
and one of the channels that I hang out in a lot, and that really, one that's one of my main communities on Twitch is in her channel.
Hmm.
And we were just kind of joking about her building Lego one day, and then she messaged me after and was like, "Okay, but for real, I'll build if you want to."
Oh.
And we have a very like troll relationship between us. And so sometimes after she's like, "But seriously though, I was being serious." And so we decided we'd do a double collab, and that she'd come on my channel and then I'd go on hers later.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but if we're gonna do Lego, like, don't buy it. We'll buy it for you. So
Yeah.
so we like put up a goal on top, and the community got really excited about that. And I just booked a bunch more every Tuesday for like a month, where we would save up to give another streamer a Lego set so that they would come up, come hang out with us. And we're basically bribing them to come, and we get to sit and build a set with them. And if I don't have the set yet, I try to build the same one. But it's so much fun to watch someone build Lego who hasn't ever built it or who hasn't built since they
Yes.
were a kid. So specifically, I actually only booked people who haven't. And I brought in a couple of my mods who stream as well. So I did one with Gray Shale, one with Cosmoverse. Um, Then I did one with yeah, with Stasis Spades, who's an art streamer, and with LL Coolib, who's an art streamer. And we're going to be doing one with a gaming streamer, Cozy Gamer Cat, on May 3rd. And I'm going to be doing my first Star Wars build. Actually, I've never done a Star Wars build, which is hilarious.
Wow. That's really is it's really cool that you're kind of exploring this whole, swath of like people that ordinarily wouldn't, like you said, what's really cool is that these are people who ordinarily wouldn't do Lego. And then
Mhm.
you kind of put them in this situation. And what has the response been? I mean, for those who are putting the Lego together, what are their thoughts usually after you've done one of those streams?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. So Stacy has said she'll do more on stream if there's stuff that comes out. But she had a really good time. So the first one we did actually was the Minecraft pig house,
Oh yeah.
which is a great set. It's so funny, and I've actually taken quite a liking to the Minecraft sets
Yeah.
lately. They're really well done and like have really good play features. And so she was building the whole thing. And if you don't know that set, it has a play feature with like a little like I don't know, kind of button seesaw mechanism in the back, but it's
Hmm.
built modularly, so it only has a few studs holding it together.
Hmm.
And when you push down on it, the play feature is literally that the thing just explodes and falls apart. Like the top of the body comes off the legs, and all four of the legs like pop off, and it like just crumbles basically. And she didn't know that was coming. I was like, "Oh, don't forget the play feature." Um, and there's this great clip of her like destroying it and thinking that I was, trolling her, but really, in fact, it was
It's a
supposed to do
feature of
that.
the set.
Exactly, exactly. So like, she loved that that was just like part of what that set's meant to be, and you just like feel like a kid immediately. Um, my mod Cos, who built with me, Cosmoverse, he before we even started building, bought like 3 more sets for himself and was
Wow.
like already looking at lighting kits for the Infinity Gauntlet because he was just so excited. And like the best part for me is that yeah, chat gets excited and is gonna start donating some money to try to give them the Lego set and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but then I get to have like whatever Discord message with these people. Kind of, they don't know all the Lego sets that are out, right? And
Right.
so I try to get some interest and like discuss what they might want to build and so on. And so like Cause I was messaging for like an hour and a half one morning, just like while I was still in bed, and he was just like, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" And then like he got a bunch of them as
Oh
well,
wow.
but I told him he had to wait to build them. Um,
Oh,
and
that's
then
really cool.
Libby has already decided she needs to get the botanical sets that are coming out, and
Mm.
that's going to solve all of her plant problems with the cats eating the plants, and and so and basically everyone just has such a great time, and it's been so positive from really all angles so far. Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that idea, and I think it's the simultaneous joy of like getting someone who's not really done it before and kind of capturing that moment live, for yourself and in the community, and then also just kind of getting on these different personalities and their perspective on Lego, right? Because you know those of us who stream Lego builds or mocks or whatever we end up doing live on stream, we're pretty used to it, right? But then to get
Hmm.
some fresh perspective from someone who's probably not touched a brick at all or not since they were a kid, it's
Hmm.
it's it's really cool to see that. So I think, I commend you for doing that, and I think it's a great idea. So I highly recommend you know people check that out on I'm bored toys. Um, what you know, what kind of do you have any criteria for when you invite folks on, or is it generally people that are friends of the stream, or how do you decide to bring folks to the channel?
Um, it's generally places where I hang out. So if I know that streamer fairly well, whether they're like in our chats or not, it doesn't particularly matter to me. I don't even particularly care if they're if I'm will like want them to be in my chats or something. That's not the goal. The
Right.
goal is really just to have, a nice person and a person that I think my community will like,
Hmm.
because I'm also want them to get something out of it. Like I have, the community we have in our channel, I absolutely love and am very, proud of.
Hmm.
And I also want to find them fun streamers to watch, as well, and to kind of spread that around. So, um, otherwise, not really, no real criteria. Generally, I've been trying to find people of a similar channel size to me, just so it's, like fairly normal to think that we would collab and try to, both help promote our channels and so on. But yeah, really anyone I think I'll have fun with and that I think will enjoy streaming something with me,
Yeah.
and and that's pretty much it. Yeah, no real criteria yet. I mean, that was just my first batch, and now I'm kind of sitting thinking, okay, who who should we have next? Things like that. So, yeah, I've got one more booked, and then we'll probably try to add in a few more. But like my parents are coming to town, so I'll get my parents on stream and stuff between then. But we'll add some more for May and things. So yeah.
Have you had your parents on stream before?
Yes, yes, I have. So my dad is a model railroad guy. And,
Really?
yeah, so I've had him on both while I'm here so I live in Ottawa in Ontario,
Hmm.
and, my parents live, out east in Canada and in New Brunswick.
Hmm.
Um, and, I've had him on, like, on some software coming in, and I just bring the feed and, he shows us around the train and stuff. But then we streamed live from there as well, and I, like, rigged up my phone to go on one of the cars and, like, drive around, and you get, like, the little, like, train cam, and it would, like, hit the bridges because we forgot there was a bridge there, and it would knock anyways. But he has a massive HO scale model railroad,
Wow.
in the basement, like, 2 levels the entire way around, and they were adding onto the back of the house, and they could have just put like a block foundation, but he insisted they dig down and add onto the basement as well, perhaps just so he could have more space, for the model
Wow.
railroad, which is awesome.
That is
um
love for the hobby. That's so
Exactly.
amazing.
So he's been on before, and my mom just loves being a goofball, and so
Yeah.
she came on to stream, I think when I was back visiting with them. Yeah, I was building something, and she comes in sneaking in, and she had built herself, like, a little Duplo hat that had, like, I don't know, she's just a nutcase. So, but she's come on stream for sure before, and, yeah, they both love just hanging out and enjoying. They'll build Lego with me. I always get them Lego for Christmas and stuff now. Uh and they don't buy it themselves, but they love building it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really awesome that they're cool with being on stream on camera. Do they have when you started streaming? Did they have any thoughts on the whole idea of kind of having a show or a broadcast on the internet?
I mean, so Brenda and I started on YouTube, and we
Mm-hmm.
would just stream our builds, and it was like our parents and our friends and, friends that had kids especially would watch. And, it was mostly just me and Brenda talking to each other, but we always had, 5 to 10 people
Mm-hmm.
when we were getting started. So I think she understood from that, like, getting interaction with, she'd be in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think she understood how that would work. Um, once we moved to Twitch, I think a little more, she doesn't really understand what's happening, or they don't. They both come to the chat, but like when it's going crazy, they have no idea what we're
Right.
doing, or like, yeah. Um,
With like the hype trains and all the gift
exactly. So
subs and all that.
once it's like, once there's anything else other than just watching us build our Lego and, talking about the weather, that it's a little, a little bit different. But I
Yeah,
mean, they can see I'm having fun, and like, it's one of the only, I'll talk to them about it all the time, and they're just like, okay, well, that's fun. Enjoy. But
that's
they're really
awesome.
funny. Yeah. And they love coming into the chats and saying hi, and I give them their little diamond next to their name, and
Hmm.
everyone says hi to them, and they both came into the chat today, actually, earlier, and yeah, update us on their day.
That's really cool. So, Yeah, you started on YouTube, which I think I remember just learning that randomly while watching some of your streams. I'm not really familiar with your Twitch story or your pre-Twitch story. Uh,
Mm.
what I guess what led to I guess streaming on Twitch? Like what brought you here?
Yeah. Let's see. So in terms of like the full stream story,
Hmm.
we started just stream so Brenda is an artist and has all sorts of, social media, everything, and, had streamed before just randomly on a few things, and
Yeah.
I had gotten the Charles Dickens promo set, and we were just middle of the pandemic, and she lives next door, so we were early on bubbled together and
Hmm.
just, like, committed, me and my wife and her partner, and then someone else who lives nearby, committed to really not seeing anybody else except each other, and we felt confident that we were all working from home and stuff.
Right.
And so we decided, okay, well, we'll just build this thing on stream, and it took like an hour or something, and I was a little reluctant at first, but then I really just had fun.
Yeah.
And then we did it again, and then we streamed every Saturday since. I don't think we've missed one yet. Um,
Wow.
for both of us, actually, like we've both been together on Saturday. I think every day since then, which was yeah, December 2020 or November or something. And then just mostly friends and family until March of 2021
Hmm.
on my birthday stream. And I had been hanging out and getting to know Emmasaurus, from that's a big Lego YouTuber
Hmm.
now. And Emily's great, and she brought people over after she finished her stream, and then came onto the stream on mine as well, and brought a lot of people over, basically like a YouTube raid, which didn't exist then. They're starting to exist now,
Right.
and we met a lot of our friends there, and so I got to know the YouTube Lego community really really well, and then in August, basically on YouTube you really need to do videos as well, to
Yeah.
grow,
Yeah.
and Brenda and I both do not enjoy editing. Well, I don't mind editing, but
Yeah.
I'm really bad at completing a project, and I'll just let it sit and
Yeah.
and then it just doesn't get posted. Basically,
Right.
I've got tons of like 70% done videos that I just never posted, and so we decided we're gonna make a run on Twitch, and worrying a little bit about is the community going to come over is always a real thing. They
Mhm.
showed us a lot of support, and what we did in order to do that, so Brenda wasn't really doing her own streams at all. She was only coming on mine,
Mhm.
and she decided, no, I'm going to do my own channel as well. And then Claire, who goes by the Plastic Architect.
Mhm.
She streams on Twitch and on YouTube. She came over as well, and we all just streamed basically every day for 2 weeks, 1 hour long, raiding into each other,
Yeah.
and just getting to affiliate quickly.
Yeah.
And also just kind of letting people know that that's what we were doing. And we'd do half on YouTube, and then we'd like call it an after party on Twitch, and basically trying to just get people used to what the heck Twitch is, and even having people just like make an account, like people that had never really been here before.
Right.
And then very very quickly we just found the raids and the communities, and all the different artists, and kind of all the creators on here. There's just so many great people, and it's so much easier to get to know them and to interact with them, and it's just a very different vibe here on Twitch, and
Yeah.
it really suits us very very well. Even thing like making a thumbnail on YouTube really would slow me down. And so the
Mhm.
fact that I can just decide I'm going to go live right now if I wanted to,
Mhm.
was really a huge benefit. And it's a lot faster to be able to get some financial support from your community. On YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers
Yep.
before you can get monetized, and it's really really slow going and takes a ton of time
Yeah.
to do that. Brenda and I actually just decided on YouTube we weren't gonna wait for that, and we just put up our tip thing, which a lot of people on YouTube feel is a bit of a faux pas, I think.
Mm.
And we decided it was just Lego's expensive to build on stream, and
Yeah.
so to give people a chance to support you is really sometimes all they want. And on Twitch, it's just so much easier, and kind of part of the culture on Twitch as well, of course,
Yeah.
which, you know, is not everything it's about, obviously, you know, that's not what it's about, but in order to be able to do what you want, it costs a lot of money, you know, and to be
Yeah.
able to give other streamers Lego to build with me is, you know, requires that support, and I don't think we would have been able to do that on YouTube, for example.
Yeah. That is, it's always really cool to see creators jump from one platform to another. I've seen it go just like you, where it was from YouTube to Twitch and Twitch to YouTube and back. You know, depending on the person. Um, what I what was it like to make that transition? And do you feel, kind of looking back on it, how would you do it if you had to do it over again?
Honestly, I think we did it really well.
Yeah.
We were a little nervous,
Yeah.
um, but didn't really have much to lose or anything, and we had, you know, good support from our community, but
Mhm.
I think, we also came into it not knowing really what was normal on Twitch, and
Yeah.
so we, you know, we did a lot of work just watching Twitch even, and just getting used to, you know, not just Lego streamers, but everyone, you know, and just figuring out what was normal, even just knowing that shouting people out is a part of the culture here, which is not it on YouTube at all.
Yeah.
You know, and so those types of things, kind of getting in line with it, but also kind of owning the fact that we had no idea what we were doing at the time, and
Yeah.
just introducing stuff slowly and just not really worrying about it. Um, you know, I think that was good because it wasn't going to be perfect. And you know, we didn't necessarily want to have the same style that everyone had anyway.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we did it. I think I don't think there's anything I would change really.
Mm.
Um, we brought our community came over and really, really supported us for sure.
Yeah.
So we just had good view numbers early on,
Yeah.
or like good for us, you know, like enough to get to affiliate, even, you know, things like that.
Of course.
Which, you know, can be hard if you know, if like your mom doesn't have a Twitch account, you know, she probably has a Google account, but
Yeah.
probably not a
Yeah.
Twitch account, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it went really well, and just like having Brenda also doing it, like we can talk about it all the time. You know, she's literally next door. So
Yeah.
having a friend, you know, to who also was doing the exact same thing, you know, helped a lot for sure.
Sounds like you had a really good support network with Brenda, and of course everyone that was involved with your channel at the time.
Yeah, and my wife, who does all of my back end stuff, because I don't really know all the tech, but she
Yeah.
runs her own production company, and so she knows all the software and all the equipment
That's
and like
awesome.
how to do that stuff. And you know, I've learned as much as I can, and I can redo a lot of the stuff that she's figured out the first time. But but I'm never the one to figure out something new. Uh, and so that was also a massive, massive difference. And like obviously she'd help Brenda as well. And just, you know, getting everything set up, even just like OBS, you know.
Yeah. uh with that transition, so it sounds like, because it sounds like you kind of had a period of time where you did, you know, some YouTube, you started with your YouTube and then you ended on Twitch. And
Hmm.
I really liked that approach, because I think going just completely from one to the other would make it a lot more difficult. But when you're kind of, you know, starting off on one and then saying, hey, we're gonna move it over here for the rest of this
Hmm.
stream, that's, I think that's a great move. And I actually had not seen a lot of people do that, for those that have kind of made that jump. And
Hmm.
I think that approach was probably fairly critical to some of the success that you've got by bringing your community over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just something that worked for us because we were only trying to do an hour and a half on Twitch anyway each
Yeah.
time until, you know, until we figured it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we kind of labeled it as like, okay, well, we're just going to be a little sillier. And, you know, like we made like sock puppets or something stupid on one of our first streams
I love
and
it.
just like of like other Lego streamers and, like, did little impressions and stuff, and, like, I'm sure those clips are still around
Oh
somewhere.
man, I'm going to go looking for
Um,
those.
oh, man, there's some classic clips of
Yeah.
Brenda and I get a little chaotic sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I do love about your stream, because it is just, you guys have so much fun, and you do just like, I mean, the sock puppet thing does not surprise me at all. Just kind of
Wait, we
given.
we need to do it again, to be honest. We would definitely make, some good sock versions of Twitch streamers, Lego
Yeah.
and otherwise, that we
Yeah.
would do some impressions, flattering or otherwise, of
I would
them.
love to see that. I would. I can already picture a lot of it, but I'm not going to say what I'm picturing because I don't want. I'm sure you guys will got it, so I'm not even worried. So you do build a lot of Lego, and I'm not really familiar with your Lego story.
Mm.
Could you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think, okay, so, like, when I was a kid, I had lots and lots of Lego,
Hmm.
and really enjoyed building, like, this, like, I mean, wouldn't have been branded as city back then, but, whatever, the Lego, like, town stuff, like a little airport and a little, like, police station and fire station, all those things.
Yeah.
And, um, I also would build my own things and, like, try to, back then, the instructions, like,
Yeah.
sets weren't labeled. The instructions are really hard to build from.
Hmm.
B, the sets weren't labeled as 3-in-1s or anything, but they would often just, like, the box would just show you other builds.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember rebuilding, certain sets as other versions from the box and just trying to, like, reverse engineer it from one picture that
Yeah.
looked cool, you know? And so, I built a lot of my own stuff back then, and my mom kept it all and kept it all, in their basement, kept it very well, and, like, the front, she didn't keep the boxes, but the fronts of the boxes she cut out and, like,
Oh,
moved them
that's
in
cool.
there, and most of the instructions were there as well.
Yeah.
I recently got it all from her, actually. But
Wow.
another funny thing, which I didn't really remember doing, but, like, my, like, bulk Lego, or, like, the, like, Lego tubs or whatever that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had, apparently I had, taken it upon myself to build a sphere, and, like, a brick built sphere, and so,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
most of my bricks were, like, in a chunk that I had built, like, a multicolored sphere as a kid, and it
Wow.
was still just sitting there like that, and, like, it's probably just as good as I could do now, to be honest.
That's impressive then.
Yeah, but I didn't build, for a long time since then. I did
Hmm.
actually get, so I guess the first set I got as an adult was the Big Bang Theory Ideas set,
Oh yeah.
which I think I bought for my wife as a birthday gift or something. Um, and I guess we built that together, and, like, I still have it.
Yeah.
And but I didn't, like, jump into the hobby from there. So a couple years later, my mom got me a gift for Christmas, like, those, what are they called? Like, they're like, those Perplexus spheres
Yeah.
with, like, the little, like, ball that runs on it, and you, like, have to move it around through the obstacles and stuff.
Hmm.
Anyway, she got me one of those for Christmas, but I already had it. I had already bought it myself, like, before, because I just love things like that.
Yeah.
And so, she gave me the receipt or whatever, and I took it back to, the toy store, in Canada. One of the toy stores in Canada is called Mastermind Toys,
Mm.
which, if you're a Lego fan, you may have heard of for its notorious early releases of things. And so I took it back there and saw the Lego Great Hall
Yeah.
from the Harry Potter stuff,
Hmm.
and, that's such a great set, and, was, a lot more than the Perplexus ball, but I was, still had some Christmas money or whatever, and
Hmm.
I don't know, this must have been 2018 or something like that, I guess,
Okay.
and, so I got that and built it and just really, really, really enjoyed the build, and, like, seeing, oh my gosh, there's, 8 bags and, all these minifigures, and I'm building this, and look at all these details, and it was very different from any experience I had with the instructions as a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
And so maybe like a month after that, I just bought the castle because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I watched Jang's like 45-minute review, with his voice and, everything, like going on deep tour of the castle and down in all the little Easter eggs, and was just obsessed immediately,
Yeah.
And then, 500 Canadian sounded like a lot to spend on something,
Yeah.
without knowing how much fun I would get and how much time I would spend building it, and, how much fun it would be to show other people and things like that. And from there, I just started buying, you know, a ton of stuff,
Yeah.
and mostly Harry Potter stuff back then. So um, that was a big draw for me. Was that really the only fandom that Lego had that I would be interested in?
Mhm.
And I started mocking from that too. And I would just like buy doubles of sets if I saw them on sale or something. So I bought multiple great hauls and things. And I didn't really know about Bricklink back then or anything.
Right.
Um, and so I would just start building random things, and I didn't have Instagram or anything. I just build, whatever I thought was interesting, and show my friends and show my wife, who's a Harry Potter fan as well and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so that's kind of how I started mocking. Um,
Yeah.
and then I just started getting a little bit of everything, and, and I have so much fun with so many different parts of the hobby. I like building sets with instructions, both big and small. With I'll build 4+ sets and just absolutely love those builds as well, and as well as like really complex. I'm building the typewriter right now as well, which is
Oh,
just the most
nice.
ridiculous
Yeah.
thing I've ever done. And I like building my own stuff. I like modifying sets, and I mostly make them smaller, just to have more space to fit things into. I like
Right.
sorting pieces. I love learning. I also love pieces and just like learning about new ones that come out and
Mhm.
how things are supposed to fit together and all the colors and things like that. I love every aspect of it, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, I don't. I'm one who cycles through hobbies and interests pretty quickly generally,
Mhm.
but I don't. I think there's enough in Lego to keep me occupied for a very very long time.
Yeah.
Um, and like some months I just want to build sets over and over, or like get a new one and build it. And some months I just want to dive into building my own brick heads or whatever. And so yeah, I
I've
mean,
seen
yeah, basically Lego brought me back in as an adult, and like there's just so much for me here, so I'm, not going anywhere.
you haven't looked back from what it seems like.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I've
Yeah.
seen some of your brick heads, like the ones that you've made, which has been pretty incredible because I follow you on Instagram as well. And so,
Mm.
um, is there kind of one that you really enjoyed uh putting together, like making yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the ones I've done, so I've done ones of Brenda and of me,
Mm-hmm.
that I like. I don't think I've actually posted pictures of those, like, I show them on stream and stuff, but I don't think I've ever taken pictures.
Mm,
And then I made one of her partner for his birthday.
nice.
That's pretty good as well. And then other than that, mostly I do South Park ones. So
Yep.
that's like a show that I've watched through who knows how many times, an
Yeah.
embarrassing number of times probably. Though I just lost access. They just changed streaming services in Canada, so I don't have access to it right now.
Oh no.
But I built, I don't know how many of them, like 15 of them maybe, different
Yeah.
characters from that, and like they're so fun to build. Brick heads are a great way to start mocking, I would say,
Yeah.
because there's really a template for them, but you can get so creative with it if you want to.
Yeah.
And there's always little tiny problems you need to solve on like either like some sort of snot math or like half brick unit measurements and stuff like that. And they're super super fun. So, and South Park lends itself really nicely to it,
It
obviously.
it definitely
um
does.
yeah, they've got solid colors. If you want to get fancy with their clothes, you can, but you don't have to. You can just go solid colors, and like, you can make the kids 3 wide and the adults 4 wide, and like it just works so perfectly. Yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
keep making those. And I just ordered a ton of, basically I dove all the way in, used as many parts as I had to build, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to order a big batch of pieces for brick heads in general, and then like that'll be there next time I get obsessed again, right?
Yeah. You know, I've never built a brickhead,
Mm,
so
you should
I'm
pick
go
a
I'm
character and just,
yeah.
but and like have you like wait, you've never built a brickhead like at all?
Yeah, at all. Ever.
At all? Oh.
I've just done like, you know, other sets, but I've never done like brickhead sets.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they're really fun.
Yeah.
I actually avoided them for a long time because I was really worried about wanting them all.
Yeah. I could
And
see that.
like, and if you went far enough, then you're into like, San Diego Comic-Con type stuff that you're
Mhm.
just never gonna get, unless you really pay for it. But I've done a good job, I think, of really just for that particular aspect, just getting ones that immediately I'm like, that makes me laugh and makes me happy. And so like the Toy Story ones are great, and like the little minion ones and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm also just like some of them I just take apart. Like I bought the
Yeah.
Spice Girls ones because they were fun to build and really fun to build on stream for people.
Yeah.
And they have some really good techniques to learn from. And then you just have pieces you can mock with, And like Sporty Spice just looks like my wife, and I can just add some glasses and change the color of the shirt or something, and then
Yeah.
I've got a nice new one as well. But you should definitely, if you see one that you like,
Yeah.
or like, but yeah, I mean, I think depending on why you haven't been interested.
You know, it's never been for lack of interest. I think it's just been, you know, I've often just picked other things, but
Sure.
I will definitely, cuz I know a lot of you out there who just love brickheads. I mean, in chat many people were like, "Yeah, brickheads are great." Why, you know? So, I'm definitely going to look into it. And Zach M. Rutledge said the Mando Grogu and Grogu was a good gateway brickheads. That's actually the one I was thinking. I was like, well, I think I would enjoy that. So, definitely I also like the point that you made that they kind of make almost mocking uh somewhat easy to get started with, because you can kind
Hmm.
of start by mod like anything that you could get with Lego. You could start with the set, and then you can modify it, and then next thing you know, you're mocking on your own. Do you have any additional thoughts for people who want to get into kind of building their own creations? Any
I
tips?
mean, yeah, I mean, I think definitely modding sets is, adding little details and things like that, is definitely a great way to start.
Hmm.
Um, and brickheads as well, of course, like I mentioned. The first like main mock that I did was of like the brewery nearby that would spend a lot of time in before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I started it before the pandemic as well, but like just picking something that really, really well and that
Hmm.
means a lot to you,
Hmm.
because and like I mean, honestly, if you're not mocking, you might not even be familiar with just how to get pieces,
Yeah.
or what exists, or the building software and things like that. And so, like, I kind of just took a project that I don't know how I probably spent 100 hours on that thing,
Hmm.
and just but looking back, that's where I learned about whatever the two different Lego designing softwares that most people use. But I mean, now I just use Studio, but before I was whatever the other one was called, Lego Designer or something or other,
Yeah.
which I had preferred then. It was a little easier, but so I learned all about that, and then just like how to order bricks and like what normal prices for bricks were, and that it wasn't that weird to order from other countries if I needed them and things like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, just picking something that really meant a lot to me, and not worrying about how much time it took, or how really how good it was, or things like that. I think it really makes a difference, for me to really care about what I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that I think one of the draws for me for your channel and your community is that, and I mean, you said it yourself, that you really enjoy like all aspects of Lego, which is very awesome to see, because I don't think there are many that I've seen on Twitch that are kind of as balanced as you in terms of like I'll see you build a set, you know, and then like the next time I see you, you're just working on something else completely original. And you said that you really enjoy sorting. I love the fact that you have, you know, every aspect of Lego has been, you know, just something that you hold really near and dear to your heart. With the fact that you stream Lego, do you foresee kind of doing anything differently or expanding beyond Lego on your channel and your content, or do you think it'll pretty much stay as like a brick building stream?
I mean, I think that'll always be the main thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For I mean, a couple of like my main community, or like I don't know. It's just such. I know exactly what's going on when I do it, and I know how long
Mm-hmm.
things are going to take, and I know it's always going to be fun, and it's a fairly it's just a comfortable thing for me to stream, and what I really, really, really enjoy. Um, I've done so we did the other Toy Tuesdays for a really long time, and the idea there was that, well, in my I I'm interested in all sorts of toys,
Yeah.
um, primarily like puzzle type things or like rolling ball type things or whatever little crafty things and things like that. And the idea there was to just have, our primary audience was Lego people, but then just giving them some exposure to other stuff out there,
Mm-hmm.
um, just for fun and to be a little ridiculous with it as well. We did KiwiCo boxes for a really long time.
Oh.
So I would get a KiwiCo subscription, and those would inevitably uh disappoint a little bit. We just whatever we got in like a run of like they were just basically giving us office furniture to build. Like we built like a tiny desk and this lamp that we never finished that is like just,
that
part
doesn't
of the
sound
lore of the channel. And like,
that
oh
doesn't
my,
sound fun at all.
they gave us one that was a soap dispenser that was
What?
like, "Oh, don't forget, kids, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
So they
Do you want to learn about soap dispensers?" And the stupid thing didn't work. So, but they gave you soap with it. So Brenda grabbed the little thing of soap and was like, "You know what's a soap dispenser? This is a soap dispenser," and just like squirted the bottle of
yeah,
soap
the
onto her
bottle.
hands. Oh my
I can't
gosh.
believe that they just gave you like a lamp and like a desk and
Yeah, and they're and, like, I don't know. They're okay, they gave us, like, a little, like, lockbox thing that was really cool how it opened. That was the first one
okay.
we did. But, like, their marketing is really good,
Mm.
and if you're a LEGO fan, you've probably been hit in the face with KiwiCo,
I've seen
ads,
ads. Yep.
and you can my advice if you're interested in the KiwiCo stuff, also apparently some kids really enjoyed the lamp, for example.
Sure.
But I would just buy the specific boxes that you see rather than
Hmm.
get a subscription.
Yeah. This I mean the lamp and the soap dispenser. I mean I've gotten the ads, so
Yeah,
I've looked
it's
at
not
it.
a walking robot or a pinball machine. No, it's
No.
like other random stuff. But I mean, other like we had a lot of fun, like kind of making fun of it. That was
Yeah.
like part of our days of trying to build those things. But like it
Yeah.
was just chaos because it's like these aren't toys at all, you know. But we've done tons and tons of other toy stuff, and so normally that would have been on Tuesdays, and Brenda used to be streaming with me on Tuesdays as well.
Hmm.
But since things like restrictions are loosening up and stuff, she's a full-time artist
Right.
and does workshops, and those are opening up again. And so like her full-time gig is making art and doing community engagement stuff, and so she just has had less time to commit to that every single week, and just so she's not streaming as much with me on Tuesdays anymore.
Hmm.
And so I turned to the collabs as a good opportunity to just kind of have something else. Um, but I would definitely like to get back to other toy type stuff. Um, you know, just to add once in a while, like it'll always be part of it. If I want to play with something else, then I will, you know.
Yeah. Of course.
And like, uh, and if I go to like if I like see a sale at the toy store on something fun, then I'll just get it. And people will hang out for one stream while I'm building, while we're doing other stuff. It's
Hmm.
always going to be, always going to be fun. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, it'll always be, as far as I know, a Lego stream primarily,
Hmm.
just because it's so much fun.
Yeah, I, I can tell how much like you enjoy every time I'm in your channel. So, uh, keep on doing that, man.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, no, that means a lot to me. And like, I just, a lot of people say some really nice things about our channel, and it always, makes me think, makes me happy, of course, but it just makes me like think a lot about the fact that it's, there can be a lot more to it than just me sitting here building things. Like it,
mhm.
hopefully people get a lot more out of it than that. And when they say they do that, it means a lot to me. Yeah.
If you weren't streaming Lego or other toys, uh, what could you picture yourself streaming on Twitch?
Honestly, I have no idea. Maybe like I would like just straight up do Sudokus and puzzles and like things like that.
Yeah,
Which to me qualify as toys slash puzzles and so on, but like, they're
yeah,
very different. I have done it before, but it's a very, very different type of thing, and it's a little harder to interact with and keep the same energy.
yeah,
But other than that, I do play video games, but not really ones that are. I just play cute little games, and mostly I would play like skateboarding games or something.
yeah,
So there are a lot of like skateboarding game streamers for sure, because there's several different games that are really really popular.
yeah,
That would be probably the only type of gaming I would stream, but otherwise
yeah,
nothing really, to be
yeah.
honest.
It's all about toys
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Lego.
for sure.
I think I sat in on one of your streams and you're doing a Sudoku, and I thought that was like, as someone who likes to do those just as a fun exercise or just to unwind, uh, that really impressed me because I don't think I'd ever seen anyone do a Sudoku on Twitch, and I thought that was really like that was a fun little thing that you did that time I happened to catch it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have the scene, set up, and it's funny actually when I turn my OBS on, my
Hmm.
camera often doesn't get recognized by my main scene
Hmm.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It just shows me the like image source icon thing, but the Sudoku scene always has the camera live when the other scenes won't. So when I open OBS, I'll go to the Sudoku just to make sure my camera is working. Then I'll restart it and it'll work. And so I'm always checking that scene, even though I haven't used it in
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
But it's the type of thing I could do, like instead of like I just hold up like a paper starting soon screen usually, like literally just kind of dance
I've
around.
seen that. I love it.
I'm a very lazy person.
No,
But
it
I could like
works.
do a Sudoku
Yeah.
instead while people wait, and like the faster I would totally do that. The faster I go, the faster stream starts. But if it's
Mm.
like if I take like an hour, then they just have to sit there waiting.
Yeah. No, I remember just scrolling through my following list and you popped up and the thumbnail was you and you had a Sudoku up. I was like, dude, I'm game. Let's watch this. So no, I think that's great. I've been known to do Wordles on my
Yep.
in the first like 20 like I'll have the starting soon screen on for 10 minutes and then I spend the next 5 to 10 minutes on a Wordle and just hanging out with chat. So I get it. I kind of felt compelled. I haven't done it, but I felt compelled to do some Sudoku on stream and see what people
Go
even
for it.
think of it.
Go
But
for it.
yeah, I
It
think
can be fun, I think, with easier ones, where if like where some of the early steps in the Sudoku, if chat is able to help, even if
mhm,
they're not super familiar with the puzzles,
mhm.
I think it'd be kind of boring to watch a very hard Sudoku if you couldn't really
Yeah.
look and try to help out or something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it can be really fun. I think it's very different than a normal
Yeah.
thing, but it can be done really well. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's fun.
and also like it could be done really well for a different audience that is like Sudoku people, you know?
Yeah.
And so it might not make sense to do it on a Lego streamer's channel as like, okay, I'm doing Sudokus now. Like you wouldn't have the same audience.
Right.
And so like they wouldn't, that's not what they were here for.
Yeah.
So you might just, I don't know, start a new channel or go to YouTube or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I'm always curious about when someone does something on their channel that is often uh different or unexpected. And so you got my attention that day that I rolled into your stream and you were solving one of those. And so
Mm.
I thought that was just a fun moment to look back on. Um with your streams, you mentioned that you're collaborating a lot lately, and with all the collaborations going, um, I guess what are your thoughts for people who are trying to figure out how to kind of start collaborating with other creators? Uh, what kind of tips would you give someone who's trying to get started on collaborating with other creators?
Um, do you mean like in terms of the tech side?
Sure.
Um, so first of all, like one thing that is a major difference actually between YouTube and Twitch in the Lego community is that collaborations are very standard on YouTube.
Yep.
Um, part of
Definitely.
the part of the reason for that, I think, is that the tech is a lot easier because like alerts and all these things that are going on the screen are just not part of the YouTube culture. It's just people streaming, and you can just go through other software and stream directly to YouTube and not worry about going through OBS or anything like that. And so like there would be things, collabs I would go on like every week,
Mm-hmm.
so I did mockumentary is a stream I was doing with Tech Productions and the
Mm-hmm.
Plastic Architect for a very long time.
Yeah.
They're still doing it and have recently started doing it on Twitch actually. Um, but that we would just run through StreamYard and just go live immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to really do anything. So on Twitch, it was a little scarier. And I think just figuring out how to get people in, and
Yeah.
the site we're using works really well.
Yeah.
Also Skype works really well because you can directly input it as an NDI source
Mm-hmm.
into OBS, which other ones don't. So just figuring out
Mm-hmm.
the tech could be a big barrier, but so I would, talk to other people about how to get it going, of course.
Yeah.
In terms of just like how to do it, I think pick people that you know really well.
Yeah.
Or and figure out like what you're going to be doing. I don't know. Like I'm just trying to think like what was it started. If you just want to build together, that's great, of
Mm-hmm.
course. That's always going to be fun. If it's going to be somebody outside of your normal group of people or something, or not a Lego streamer or whatever, make sure they're going to get something out of it too.
Yeah.
Rather
Definitely.
than just like, I want you to be here because I think it will give me follows or, big follows, best follows, primes, whatever the troll bots are saying these
Yeah.
days. Um, and I mean, try to figure out something that they're going to get from it and really, hopefully get your community into their chats. And, my technique was to buy them Lego,
Yeah, I was gonna say you
and
could
then
bribe
like,
them with a Lego set.
exactly. That's kind of really, you know, and like I honestly I just will message with them a lot and hopefully, trying to figure out if there's anything they're trying to do or like what their goals are for the channel. If they want to promote stuff, if they want to try to like are they trying to sell their own stuff? If they're especially with like artists, I hang out in a lot of art streams, and a lot of them like streaming is a main way for them to get to just promote their stuff, and their Patreons and their online shops and things like that. So just figuring out ways that because are they probably don't just want to come on and give you their time.
Yeah,
um you know
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point about when you ask someone to come on to come on to your stream, that they're also, you're providing some value to them, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's I think the obvious value is exposing them to another community, but also, hyping them up, via other methods, whether it's, social media, or just kind of talking them up to your community in Discord, things like that. But I totally agree. I totally agree with collaboration. Have you found any challenges of getting collaborations going, or anything that made it more difficult to do?
I mean, scheduling can be hard. If time zones are really hard. And we're so used to just, I kind of know more or less what time zone people are on, and that's
Yeah,
great. They're in the chats when they're in the chats, or and it's a little different when you're just like chatting or something. But when you have to like set up a time to collab,
yeah,
and someone has a job, and someone has kids, and things like that, and they have a normal stream schedule, and are you going to overlap with them? Are they going to delay theirs or something? Like, scheduling can be really hard. And
yeah,
you know in order for me to try to get the most people there and so on, like, streaming on my normal schedule is best, just because that's when people know I'm going live. Um, but yeah, I mean, scheduling is just the hardest thing. So
yeah,
I've been very lucky so far in that everyone has just basically said, "Oh yeah, that time works for me."
yeah.
Um, I mean, being on Eastern time is probably helpful because I'm,
Oh yeah,
and my job allows me to be flexible with on certain days with middle of the day type stuff, and so it can work in both directions. Um, yeah, but, that's the hardest part, I would say.
yeah,
Once the tech is figured out, it's figured out for the most part. A few little hiccups here and there, and, we learn a little bit each time, but,
yeah.
um, otherwise, no, it's been a lot of fun, yeah.
Looking back on your journey from, YouTube to Twitch to what you're doing now, if you could kind of go back and give yourself any kind of advice, or if you were able to talk to Kevin when this all started, would there be anything you would tell yourself, or any kind of wisdom you would impart?
It's hard because, like, the stuff I'll tell other people is maybe like, I would say things like, "Things are gonna go wrong early on, and, go
Right.
slow and steady," and, things like that. Because, like, I distinctly remember early on, like, stream wouldn't start, and I'd be like, "Oh, no," there were 5 people waiting to see me or something,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Oh, what have I done?" And,
Yeah.
obviously, looking back, that probably didn't matter really, but, like, I don't know, just, like, still, I don't think I would have changed that. I took it really seriously
Mm,
early on because I just kind of take everything seriously, I guess, but, like, um I don't know. Just know what your goals are, I guess,
yeah.
more than anything. Like, if you're just streaming to have fun, that's great. If you're streaming to try to grow something, that's great as well.
Yep.
For me, and also, like, my goals have not always been clear to myself, and have changed, and I go through a lot of different
Yeah.
periods and stuff, and starting out and kind of where I've landed now is, the goal is really just to have a positive place for people, um and eventually I would love to have a toy store, and, like, also have streaming be a big part of it, in terms of building the community, and, like, just kind of understanding, like, streaming from the toy store and things like that.
Right.
Obviously, a lot of us know the local brick shop, and, like, for example, I think he does a great job of really integrating, and us knowing that that's his business as well,
Hmm.
which, yeah, I mean, if I could make that work, that would be amazing. And I've always thought to myself, a toy store doesn't just need to be a toy store. It can be a hub for community, and especially these days, a toy store is not just going to exist in competition with every other place you can buy toys, right? Like it would need to be something more than that. And I think I've learned a lot about that from, and a lot about the fact that you can get that community from adults as well.
Yeah.
That obviously for toy stores, kids would come to mind right away. But I've learned a lot from being in the Lego world about adults that love toys and like being kids,
Yeah.
themselves. And obviously that's mostly through Lego here, but I'm sure a lot of us have other, side toy type things that we're interested in. But that's always kind of been my mm, dream slash goal, kind of mixed one way or the other. Yeah.
I really like that. I hope that you'll eventually get to realize that uh, goal or that dream. Um, I never thought about the fact, you know, of kind of crossing that toy, like a toy shop with, like a community hub that you could also somehow involve streaming to some degree. So
Yeah.
very, very cool. It's very cool. I like also how you pointed out uh for people who are creating content to kind of realize their goals or understanding what they are, and it's okay that it changes over time, but certainly um, awareness around what you are trying to do is really important. So
Hmm.
I really appreciate that, and I think that's something a lot of creators don't think about, uh,
Hmm.
um, especially some who want to grow but they're not really sure why they're not growing. And I
Hmm.
think goal, like understanding where they want to be long term, is really important.
Yeah,
Uh
absolutely. And I mean, I'm also very lucky to have, Brenda to talk with a lot
mhm.
about these things because, she's, we're we're always within a few followers of each other,
Yeah.
and, things like that. But like, and we were very tied together in terms of our communities early on for obvious reasons. Like we would,
Mhm.
and I mean, a few months ago, I think like I don't think she'll mind me talking about this at all, but like um we start like our communities diverged a little bit, and now um that like sorry, there's a motorcycle going by there. Um that changed a lot for me, and just made me reevaluate a little bit where mine was going, as well, and kind of
Mhm.
figuring out if the community is going to change, that's going to take a little bit of time too. And so obviously we still have massive overlap between our channels of just kind of awesome people that love this type of thing, but there's always going to be people that are more interested in Brenda doing art than me doing Lego, and
Right.
vice versa, maybe. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, and community is going to change too, and that's actually really that was one of the hardest. So I mean, I've talked to my mods about this too, but like a few months ago, it really felt like things weren't going the direction I wanted,
Mhm.
and just and that can be very, that can be a little hard on you as well.
Mm.
And but just I thought a lot about it and talked to a lot of people about it and kind of just revamped things, and I've just been so happy the last couple months with what we're doing, and how much fun we're having, and bringing other people onto the streams, and just like
Yeah.
building and being silly, and
Yeah.
making stuff, and making jokes.
I love no, I love it. I love it. Goddess of D's in chat asked a great
Mhm.
question, and this circles back to the collaboration aspect of our conversation. Goddess says, "Kevin, you have such a fun and engaging personality. Have you run into any issues with competing personalities in collaborations, or do you weed that
Mm.
out before you reach out to people?"
That's a funny question. It's a funny question, first of all, because of Brenda, and like she's a freaking personality,
Yeah, I was going to
and
say.
so um and so I mean, if you watch our streams, you'll know that like we go through funny ups and downs between us, and like
Yeah.
sometimes we're very close, and like we're basically siblings now.
Yeah.
Um and we understand each other's like language very well, but like we also know when to shut it down on stream if we're pushing each other too far or something like that. But like
Right.
we're both pretty ridiculous people. But I basically, when I'm streaming with her, I take on a little bit of a different, not persona, but like a different aspect of my humor.
Right.
Or, I'm a little toned down, and like I might seem angry or whatever, but I'm just like trolling her, and she's trolling me with her ridiculousness
Mm-hmm.
and things. But that's a different issue. If I had a problem with her, I would just tell her, and she'd be like, "Oh, okay." And vice versa. And vice versa. If she was like, "Kevin, you need to whatever," I'd just
Mm.
be like, "Oh, okay." But in terms of other streamers and personalities, I mean, again, ones I've done, I just know really well.
Yeah.
Um, Either they're a mod for me, and so I know them like really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Or have collabed with them before. So like with Cosmoverse, I've collabed with him before. Grayshail, who's in the chat right now, they came on as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, there I wouldn't have foreseen any issues, Grace.
Mm.
But otherwise, yeah, I just pick people that are in that I go in their chats basically,
Right.
and that I know, fairly well.
Which
But
which
otherwise,
is really
also, I
important,
mean,
right?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, I am pretty good at interacting with anybody if I need
Mm-hmm.
to for an hour or for 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need to take a back seat during that stream, that's fine. You
Yeah.
know. So if I ran into a situation like that, I would probably just sit back and let them be. If especially if they're on my stream, I'm just gonna let them have the spotlight, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But I'd be ready for that. But in general, I just wouldn't try to approach someone if I was ever worried
Yeah.
about that happening. um, but it's a good question though,
Yeah.
especially like if your community really wanted somebody on,
Mm-hmm.
let's say. I actually have never asked my community for suggestions
Yeah.
thus far. It's not something I'm avoiding or anything. I was just immediately just asked some people that came to mind right away.
Yeah.
um but I could imagine a situation where people really wanted someone on that they think would be fun, and I would have some reservations.
Mm-hmm.
um but I think I would just be ready to let them be themselves. They're there to promote themselves as well, and I've invited them because I think it'll be fun for the community. So yeah.
Yeah. Great answer. I definitely would say and affirm that it's always good to have a great, I guess, familiarity with the other person. Like, have a good
Hmm.
understanding of who they are. Uh, Everyone I've asked on this show is someone I've spent at least a significant amount of time just even lurking in their chats and kind of understanding their personality and kind of uh, trying to kind of gauge right where I feel like we would have some good conversation, especially
Exactly.
for the goal of the show, right, is to learn all about the guest and the people that we
Right.
bring on here. And so often, the question I ask myself is, do I feel like they would want to engage in conversation with me for around an hour and have something to have something to say, right? Uh, but yeah, no, I think that's great, and I imagine there will be a lot more collaborations for you to come, given that you've been booking them out, for
Hmm.
several weeks ahead of time. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone that you have on there. And again, I really like the fact that you're asking friends of the stream who are not necessarily directly related to the same content. I really think that's cool
Yeah.
that you're bringing people in often who haven't built any Lego before. And so,
Yeah, and the main trigger for that was, okay, I was just collabing with Stace of Spades.
Yeah.
who was, yeah, obviously awesome and I know her really well. But there was this moment in the stream where she's like putting the head on the pig or something, and her eyes just like light up, and she's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like that moment, and I just sat back and was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool to
Yeah.
see someone kind of like then struggle through the first part of a build and then see like the main part come together and
Yeah.
then have them be absolutely, just loving it, right? Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that purity of a new experience, Goddess of D's is said in the chat. And I don't think anybody clipped it at the time, but I went back that next day and clipped that specifically just so I could remember that. And that was what made me say I want to have more people on who might give me that
Yeah.
that type of reaction. The goal isn't to make them Lego fans or to make them buy Lego, right? The goal is to just have them really enjoy it at least one time
Yeah.
because that's always going to happen,
Yeah.
Lego's so fun, you know.
Yeah. I love what you're doing with that. Keep doing it. And I can't wait to see who else you bring on. Yeah. It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I actually haven't reached out to anyone past May 3rd, but I have several several people in mind that I'm hoping I can get on that I know from their chats. And and also I'm picking people that like I raid them a lot, or not a lot, but like
Yeah.
I have rated them and they have rated me. That
Right.
has worked really well as a bit of a bit of a like, okay, at least they think my community is a good place to bring theirs.
Right.
For example. And so that's also, a good way to think about it, right? If they're willing to raid and they are a good recipient of a raid, then it's probably going to go well in terms of your communities being excited about it.
Yeah. Definitely. For anyone who is kind of on the fence about getting started with content creation on Twitch, do you have any advice for them?
I mean, if it's something you want to do, just figure it out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are I actually one thing that I haven't thought about, or I don't know. So I'm what I've been thinking about a lot, not a lot lately, but like with some new streamers, um, this is not a piece of advice that I've ever like actually given to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but I've something I haven't seen people do really is avoid getting affiliate status a little longer than they might want to.
Right.
A lot of times it's pushing to affiliate right away.
Mm.
Um, but if you're not ready to treat it like a community, then it might be better to wait and just figure things out and kind of get a culture of your channel a little bit before that. um what are your first emotes going to be, and like what are you know all those little things, am I going to just have alerts for everything? Am I going to all that type of thing, I don't know, is obviously not something necessarily that I did, but that, I came over from YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, you're kind of forced into that because you can't monetize right away. But I mean, that's an interesting piece of advice, maybe that is a possibility,
Right.
that might work for some people. People get not just the streamer, but the community or the people in the chat or your friends are super excited that you're affiliate. That's an exciting
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
um, you know, and it's achievable for a lot of people, especially in the Lego community, because there's
Definitely.
going to be people that will push you there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think being ready with some emotes and things like that, and to say this is like the culture that we're going to have here, and little inside jokes or whatever, I mean, that's an option. I think would be waiting a little bit longer,
Yeah.
um depending on what you want to do with it. I don't know. That's a possibility, I guess. That would be
Yeah.
one piece of advice that you can take
Yeah.
or leave.
I really love
I don't
that,
know.
actually. I think this kind of touches on what you were saying earlier about understanding what you want to do with your
Hmm.
channel and your community and your content, because all of those things, I think a lot of us on Twitch, I mean, I did it. Like, I jumped in, I took
Hmm.
affiliate, and I just started going once I hit it. But it's always this assessment for me, trying to figure out, am I doing the thing that is really in line with what I want to create, right? And I don't
Hmm.
think, especially when I have those questions, I have those thoughts now, and I'm like 4 years into my streaming
Oh, of
career.
course. Yeah.
But I think a lot of people who just get started haven't really thought about that. So I think that's completely valid and great advice, is to maybe stop, think about it, and figure out what you're doing before you
Hmm.
kind of take that step into affiliateship.
And there, if you're, primarily, want a way to have your community give support, you can always have, your tip jar on through whoever,
Yeah,
Streamlabs, Stream Elements, straight to PayPal, whatever.
yeah,
There are streamers that literally never even take affiliate and just develop their culture through other ways, or through a Patreon or
yeah,
something like that. That's just separate from Twitch entirely.
yeah,
And they run their emotes just through Better TTV or through, Frankerzy or whatever.
yeah,
It's possible to do that for sure. It's not the norm.
definitely.
But it could be a way also to build your way up to deciding to become an affiliate later. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
depending on, if you're just starting because it's fun and, affiliates there, then, that's obviously an amazing option for people as well, so.
yeah. I think that's really great to highlight, because often, many members of communities and viewers, they kind of get caught up in the sub hype, or the gift sub hype, or the bit cheering in the bits. But often, especially, I think it's often overlooked, is that monetarily, a lot of creators actually get more via those tip buttons through whatever, Stream Elements, or a direct
Mhm.
PayPal link, what have you. And so, I mean, obviously, it's not as cool as seeing a cheer alert, or getting some cool badges, or sub emotes and things like
Mhm.
that. But definitely something to think about, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, if you think, yeah, I mean, that has been how I'm doing the the collab funds to get the sets for people. I just put the goal up and I say we're going to save for these, and
Yeah,
you know, it might just be that someone, put some money there instead of buying bits that they're going to buy or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways to support channels, and I think a nice healthy mix of all of them is
yep,
is great for anyone. You know,
definitely.
subs on Twitch, 50% goes to Amazon or whatever, and then
Hmm.
but like a gifted sub to somebody makes them really feel part of the community and has so much more value than just that 50%. It's
Yep,
not about it's not about just the money to the streamer.
it's the
The number
gesture.
of times you see someone continue their gifted sub who might not have stuck around in chat for another month,
Yeah,
except they did because they had the emotes and they felt welcome and had a badge beside their name,
yeah,
right? Like it's
definitely.
weird, but that means a lot to people.
Yeah,
um and so yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, just a healthy mix of them all
yeah. I
is
like that.
is really good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think that a healthy combination is always good for both the creator and their community.
Hmm.
I want to take a moment and highlight something said in chat, because this is a really wonderful comment by Klutzy Crafts. It
Mm.
says, "Because of Kevin, I have pulled out old Lego kits and started building with my son. It's something simple, but has brought my teen and I closer together. That's a blessing in disguise. We sit around, watch Kevin, and laugh at the shenanigans in chat, and just enjoy our time together and build silly things." So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, because I think that's just a really fantastic sentiment from someone who is a member of your community. So
Yeah,
thank you for
so
that too.
that's so Andrea, thank you so much. And Andrea is someone I'll just kind of highlight this case because it's super interesting.
Mm,
Andrea came to Twitch just a couple months ago, never watched Twitch at all ever.
hmm.
And there was a YouTube channel that she watched that really liked, and found out that they were just basically posting their VODs on, it's Evan and is it Evan and Caitlin or something like that.
Mm,
Um, and came over to Twitch to watch one of their live streams, but they weren't live yet. And she just clicked on Zanbabe's page and came into chat, and then has hung out with San and me and Brenda, and is just a major part of our community within weeks of having been there. And there's and someone that wasn't really into Lego at all, and still is
right.
going to do a little bit, but yeah. So I mean, those types of things are so cool to hear.
Yeah.
And there's so many awesome people in the communities, and it's just really cool, something that just doesn't really happen on other platforms. There's just not as much community.
Yeah.
One possible exception is Instagram. Recently hasn't felt the same, I don't think, for anybody, but like a couple of years ago, or a year ago even, like a ton of community, it felt, was there, and a lot of kind of building challenges, and even live streams and things like that on YouTube or on Instagram.
Hmm.
Lately hasn't felt as much like that, I don't think, but I think Twitch does a really good time. Does a really good job of you know so quickly you can find a community.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, of exactly the people that share your sense of humor and your, kind of outlook on things, and which is either good or bad, I guess, but
Yeah,
mostly
yeah.
good.
It's mostly good, but I agree with you. I definitely would say that, and I say this all the time on this show and on my streams. It wasn't until that I got involved specifically with the Lego community on Twitch that I'd never felt so like welcome. And once I got involved with the brick building community on here on Twitch, I just uh, I wasn't sure it was possible to have such a welcoming and kind and just fantastic community. And so, uh, you know, that that feedback you just got there is just, I think, testament to the kind of people that are involved. So I think it's incredible. So I'm gonna take that one with me for a while.
Mm,
I really loved seeing that kind of feedback and those kind of stories from community members.
hmm
Um, was there anything that I haven't asked you that you expected me to have asked you at this point?
I mean, I didn't really know what to expect,
Yeah,
so
yeah. We ran the
I
gambit
don't
here.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah. Um,
Was there
no,
anything you wanted to share that you didn't get a chance to share?
not that I know of.
No.
I just, I was just here for, for a little chat, and
Of course.
whatever came up is good with me.
It's been a fantastic chat so far. Now that you've experienced this, now you kind of understand what to expect. Was there anyone that you were uh, thinking would be fun to see on a crossing the streams in the future?
Oh gosh. I mean, I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. I have to think about that. I'm not sure.
okay, you let me
I need to
know.
think
You can
about
let
that.
me know later.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Zanbabe.
Maybe
Zan's
Zanbave.
freaking awesome, and would have a lot of perspective, not only on, streaming,
Hmm.
and being a very new AFOL, but also chats and modding.
Yeah.
I don't know how many channels Zan mods for, but it's a lot. And Zan, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but in my Nightbot chat settings, Zan's number of chats are easily 45% of my chats.
Wow.
Easily. Like
That's impressive.
the next 9 don't add up to her, and like that's not a bad thing,
No. No.
Zan as brings so much joy to so many people, not only in her streams, but in other people's chats. It's unreal. And so she'd be really fun to have on, and she's freaking hilarious too. Yeah, so that's an option if
Yeah.
she's up for it. Though she is in
Yeah.
the UK, but she stays up late. So
Yeah. If Zan's up for it, I'll definitely see about getting her on here. um, see, chat's asking for it too.
there you go.
A lot of people agree with the recommendation. So, Kevin, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitch.tv/imboredtoys. And Instagram, also imboredtoys. And those are my main two. My YouTube page is still there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of, like I have a video of one of my roller coaster mocks that we put a lot of work into that video,
Mm-hmm.
and like just put it up there. And like that's one of my, one that I'll watch just to see, like, my wife putting all the work into the editing of that one and things like that. It's just something I'll always, we had a lot of fun making it. And so I'm not necessarily ruling out ever not posting on YouTube or something like that, but
Sure.
it's been a while, and so the YouTube page is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not very active. But Instagram I'll post, once in a while. I haven't put a lot of effort into like posting every day or anything. I just post when, I'm not trying to grow my platform there. I'm just using it as a place to share a few things with friends still,
Yeah.
primarily. But Instagram, Twitch is where, most of my stuff is. And then I've got my Discord, which you can find on through my Twitch page. Anyone's welcome in. And actually, so one thing I started doing there
Yeah.
that I'm really excited about. So Brenda and I loved filming for vlogs.
Yeah.
But we would just like, shoot the videos and stuff, be like out to the Lego store or wherever we're getting stuff and being ridiculous. And we love turning the camera on and being funny.
Yeah.
And and we would just like not edit the video because we like have to add music and like,
Right.
and if we turn Brenda will keep the camera on for like 5 minutes just saying who knows what, and like she's like ah. But I hated editing it and it would just never get posted. So instead I just made a channel on my Discord the other day called Not YouTube, and we went to the Lego store and we would just shoot selfie videos and post them right away, like immediately.
That's great.
And one was 3.5 minutes. I just sliced it into 4 chunks with probably overlapping beginnings and ends. I don't know.
Yeah.
And posted them and was like, here, take it. If you want to watch, if you want to come on the trip, great. This is better than a vlog. You get it right away.
I love it.
And like the only people that care are the one, like I don't care to see how many people watched it or how many people liked it.
Yeah.
I did make sure that people, I said, don't forget to, leave a subscription and join the, whatever.
Don't forget to like and
leave a
subscribe.
reaction. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, leave a reaction.
Leave a reaction below.
I love it.
Yeah, things
I
like
love that
that.
idea.
So we just started doing that, and that I hope really just like keeps people excited in the Discord, because like, Discords are hard and there's a
Yeah.
lot of them and they're so overwhelming if you don't put a lot of work into only highlighting what you want to see.
Yeah.
And so to be, and I'm someone that didn't really join Discord at all until I was like kind of, okay, I need to have one,
Right.
there's a benefit of it, to the community, I think,
Mm-hmm.
where like that's a great place for all of us to access each other,
Mm-hmm.
and where the community has all of a sudden become its own thing again, so I've had a positive experience with it so far. But as a creator, you also can't expect everyone's going to be joining it and everyone's going to be reading everything and going to be active. I
Right.
think that's, just never going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that this like gives people a reason to stop in and gives them something fun and different, is to just like post these little vlogs and stuff,
I love
and
that
like,
idea. I really do. I think that's
and
great.
Yeah, so we'll see what that turns into. That's kind of what I think is, had a pretty good initial reaction. Oh, and the other thing we're gonna do actually on May 1st,
Hmm.
we're doing a little like community build of there's this like Lego. I actually something when Lego comes out with like new waves of stuff,
Hmm.
one like theme that a lot of people probably don't click on is classic.
Yeah.
And I love seeing what they do with those. A lot of them they look like they're just the same as other ones or whatever. But
Yeah.
like this one had a couple of really cool ones. One had like these like mechanisms and you build little machines. And I learned a lot from just building those. And another one is these little creative monsters, and it's like $10, and you can like they'd show you some examples, and it has like 150 pieces or something. And
Yeah.
we're gonna hang out on Discord on a Discord call, and just like a bunch of us bought this $10 set that has pieces in it, and we're gonna build monsters and talk about them and make up stories about them and give them stupid names
Yeah.
and just be funny with each other for whatever, just like hanging out on a Discord call.
Yeah.
And very different feel than a stream.
Definitely.
I'm not even gonna sit at this camera. I'm just gonna sit at my computer and you're gonna see the back gross wall and all these things. But yeah, so I think like that type of thing, I really want to find a way to make it feel more like a little different than just like why there's reason to feel part of the community.
I
um
really like that.
so that should be fun. I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to that. Hopefully it's not just full of trolls, there to, ruin everything. But
I think it'll go great. I really love
yeah,
that idea.
for sure.
And I
Yeah.
think that I think that you'll get a lot of great participation in that.
Yeah, it should be really, really fun. I'm so excited about that actually. Yeah.
Um, I guess all that's left to say is, do you have any parting words for those that are watching or listening?
Nothing major, just have fun with your Legos.
There you go. Have fun with your Lego.
I said Legos. That is
Legos.
crucial
That's
to
true.
the advice.
Kevin, thank you so much. Twitch.tv/ I'm bored toys. It was an absolute honor to get to talk to you on this show. Thank you for coming. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to see you back here sometime to catch up and see what you've been up to after a while. So thanks again, Kevin.
Thank you so much for having me. And to anyone that's going to come on, it's super easy to do this. You just click on a link before, and you make it so easy. You give me great information before, and it's a really fun experience on the other end. So both before and during. We'll see
Thank you.
about after. Hopefully
Yeah.
we're okay after too.
Hopefully we're okay after. All right. Thank you.